Okay, it is 8:30. It's time for the weekly meeting of the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors. We have an agenda in front of us. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions?
I have none.
I have none. Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the agenda. Further discussion, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. County Attorney, general discussion.
Just on the lot up in Stacyville, I got a copy of your email, and I haven't heard anything from Sansker.
Okay.
What did I say?
Stacyville.
Got
Close enough.
Both start with an S.
Still in the county.
And I have not heard from anybody, but Ivan just seems to think things happen on their own for some reason. I don't know why that is. So I'm assuming they've got a hold of Pat Rourke, and Pat's going to do the stuff for John's, and then I'll do the rest of it for economic development up there. And we still have that $20,000 sitting in our trust account, and so most of the money we've got already to pay for that. So that's all I have on that. You also want to discuss this resolution 76910. What questions do you have for me on that?
Well, we make a motion to approve a resolution. Can we make a motion to rescind a resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, it would be a resolution rescinding resolution 76910 and withdrawing support and or disbanding the Historical Preservation Commission for Mitchell County, Iowa.
Yeah, if you read through the code of ethics for the historical preservation, and they don't seem to follow that at all. I don't feel we've been getting what we thought we were going to get with that.
Exactly.
So I guess that's. So do we have to have a
Just put it in the
new
form.
resolution?
I can draft, if you want to do that, I can draft a resolution, put it in the form of a motion today. If you want me to tell you what the language is, you want me to make the motion?
I can make the motion.
It'd be a motion just,
Well, you know, this code of ethics thing. I mean, I don't want people to think we've entered into that with the historic preservation, you know, in good faith. But lately, it doesn't seem like there is any good faith on their side at all. If you number 13 here of this standards of professional conduct, it says commissioners and staff should avoid dishonesty, never misrepresenting facts, or distorting information to achieve desired outcome. I mean, the whole thing, if you read through it, it's just, you know, they've basically gone, you know, they have a political agenda. They put ads in the paper.
well, who's actually putting the ads in the paper? Is it the Mitchell County Historical Preservation Commission?
Well, here's Penny, president of the Mitchell County Historical Preservation.
We didn't
Who
put
wrote
any,
the ads?
okay, the Friends of a Courthouse is a different
Are you
group.
Friends of the Courthouse?
I'm a
person?
member. I
All
can
right.
try to put my input
Is
into
Mary-
toning down
is
the
Mary a
words.
member?
She is a member.
And you guys?
It's a
think you
much
follow
bigger
this code
group
of
that,
ethics?
we're not doing that as a preservation commission.
This is
There
code of
are
ethics
other
for
people.
Commissioners and staff.
You know, we're not doing that as members of a preservation commission. There's other people, a lot more people than us. We try to, I mean, sometimes I try to tone down the words they want to use.
Who writes all those?
Well, it's not me. I don't
Well,
write
I
them.
know Betty called me a week or so ago and swore up and down for 45 minutes. She's not writing. I have to sign it because I'm the president, but I don't write them.
I don't write them either. If I write something, I put my name on it, okay?
You know, we've sat here, this board has been trying for 2 years, and you've come to me and said before, oh boy, if that courthouse would be safe, that'd be fine, but if it can't, we're good with that. Is that true or not?
That's true.
Okay, then last week we had the meeting with the 2 architects out here. I asked them point blank, I says, can that existing courthouse be reconfigured, reconstructed to meet the county's need? They both almost stood up and said, absolutely not. Yet that doesn't hit YouTube.
But
Why not?
whatever said, the whole thing is there.
No, it is not.
I didn't cut anything out.
I watched it.
I did not cut anything out of the meeting. I put the whole thing on. I didn't cut it.
Well,
Nothing.
then it's not being streamed. You might want to look at it again.
I didn't cut anything out of
So-
that. I didn't even do about any editing. I just said,
Actually,
this is what it
the
is.
Historical preservation is basically working against the Board of Supervisors.
Well, I wouldn't say so. I've been trying to help you all
But when
along.
one of you write a nice article for the paper and Jim will print it and saying exactly that, that boy, we're behind the Board of Supervisors 100%. No, that'd be too much, wouldn't it?
I'm trying to help you in your decision-making process. What are the things that are going to help you get the community behind you? As I said, like last summer, had you done that study, I said that very well may convince the public to get a new courthouse. Just get the study done.
Penny, how many studies do we need?
The community's been behind us from the get-go, and Friends of the Courthouse have done nothing but turn the community against us.
Friends of the Courthouse is not me.
You're a member.
I'm a member, but it's like you might be a member of a church that has a policy that you don't necessarily agree with. Many Catholics use birth control, and I know that's against the policy of the Catholic Church, but they do it anyway. So you can be a member of a group and not agree with all their policies or their decisions.
It's guilt by association.
Well, anyway, I mean, I guess that's why I asked Mark about whether or not we could rescind that, because if it's not going to benefit our county at all, and actually just...
Well, we do a lot more than, it's like all the Preservation Month activities that we did last year. We're co-sponsoring the book signing by Cheryl Mullenbeck next Saturday at Stacyville for the new book that she just published. We were planning on doing more preservation. I mean, we can still do them as individuals, but I guess it won't be as a preservation commission, but we'll be doing more activities in May for Preservation Month to highlight things that are going on in the county. And it's unfortunate that you gentlemen, we've always invited you to the meetings. You're welcome to come to the meetings to have input.
In what meetings?
The Preservation Commission meetings. It would have been helpful to have one of you attend the meetings.
Who writes this?
I didn't write it,
Who
okay?
does?
Well, I didn't write it.
Would you ask somebody, tell me who wrote this?
Well, there were different members of the Friends of the Courthouse who had input
Were
in
you
writing
there?
it. I was there, but I didn't write it.
Well, who wrote it?
I can't remember. All the people were there had input, okay?
It's this kind of crap that's causing problems in the county.
Well, Miss Morris,
Having a
Miss
meeting in a
Morris.
room that was too small caused problems. A lot of people didn't get in.
Miss
Oh,
Morris,
no, that's not true. The door was open, I was outside, there was nobody that wanted to get in that didn't get in.
Well, I talked to people who said there was a sheriff's deputy there and said you can't get in, and they left.
Miss Morris, let me ask this. The statement that you guys had previously was if it was impractical to refurbish the courthouse, you would drop it. Basically...
But it was too expensive.
If it was too expensive. It came in, three different scenarios came in at between 8.8 and 9.1. We feel we can build a new one for under 6. That's going to be our goal.
What if there was...
Miss, I am talking right now, please. So refurbishing is going to be 50% more, and they basically have said before, just to refurbish it by itself is still not adequate for usage. So are you guys now going to drop this because it's 50% higher cost to refurbish and have additions and so on and so forth? Are you willing to drop this thing now and let us do our work, or are we going to have more of this stuff? Because that's going to determine the way I'm going to vote. If guys are going to continue on this, I'm definitely going this other way when it comes time. If you're willing to drop it and let us do our work.
I'm an individual. I can't speak for a group. But I would ask people if you're willing to keep this courthouse enough, how much money are you willing to commit to raising to do it? That option, I don't know if people would be willing to do it.
I'm asking you.
I can't speak for Friends of the Courthouse. I can't.
I'm asking you, are you willing to drop this thing?
I cannot speak for Friends of the Courthouse.
I'm asking you as individual, Miss Morris.
Willing to drop
Are you willing,
what?
Miss Morris, to drop it?
Drop what?
drop all of this crap? Are you willing to,
Look, I
You're
cannot
either gonna
control,
work with us or work
there
against us.
is a
What is
Friends
it?
of the Courthouse group. What I can do is try to work with them to say, look, you need to work with the supervisors. Have you,
have we hit that plateau to where it's impractical to do a renovation and we're gonna go ahead? Are you guys seeing that we hit that plateau?
you know, I can't speak for the group.
I'm not asking you to speak for the group, I'm asking you to speak for yourself.
Well, for myself, my thought was, well, what if people were willing to raise the money to make the difference up? If people love the courthouse enough, would they
So
commit
in
to
other words,
raising
that's
$2 million or whatever that wouldn't
So in
be
other
county
words,
money?
you're not
Would they be willing to?
you're
I don't
not
know, I
willing to-
can't speak to
You're not
that.
willing to go ahead with
That
what?
wasn't an option. Now you're coming up with a new
Well-
option because you didn't get your way.
It's not because I didn't get my
Yes,
way.
it is, absolutely.
I'm just
is.
saying,
I
listen
mean,
to the people.
You people want to move the food bank out of there, and you want to remodel the law enforcement center and all kinds of stuff, after you've already agreed to have this meeting out here and go with what the architect said. Period.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
The reason that meeting was out there, there was a large meeting out at the conservation building that was previously scheduled. I checked with the law enforcement, that was busy. I checked with the library, that was busy. This came up, that was the next choice, so we took it.
You have held meetings at the Lutheran Church, you did
It
before.
cost us $100 last year to do that. The Friends of the Courthouse did not offer to even pay half of it. They wanted to have these meetings where there's a lot of room. Well,
Did you ask?
do you always have to ask?
Well, Penny,
It's too late
the
now.
meeting was, what it was for, it was the advisory committee to vote on the
Yeah.
three choices.
So why should we need a huge room?
There wasn't 100 people on the advisory committee.
Well, there wouldn't have been room for 40 people in that room, not
There wasn't even
comfortably.
40 people.
We
There were
haven't had-
65 there in
We
the
haven't had
room.
40
They were not
40
all
advisory committee members at any meeting. Luckily, at 25 at
Last
the most,
one-
that would be adequate there.
I think some people got invited by mail.
Well, I did see
From the
that
Friends of the
email go
Courthouse.
around too, to make sure you got out there and voice your opinion, because vote your thoughts and against the Board of Supervisors architects. Possession, it looks like, those are our architects. I'm not paying for them, and I hate to tell you this, county is. Well, it's this
yeah.
kind of crap that's just gonna cause us.
I didn't write that, those are not necessarily words I would have chosen, but you know, I'm one person in a group.
Nobody's accusing you, Penny, of writing it.
I didn't write it. I try to tone down the
Why
rhetoric.
don't you stop and
Because
listen to
Mary
what
is
people
another one on your
say?
Historical Preservation Commission. And she's the one I'm thinking is bankrolling all these ads. That's what I've been hearing.
Well,
So basically, she's working against the local elected county officials.
She's still mad because we didn't take the Washington building. The committee, we looked at that a year ago in November. We had to go in there, the building was freezing cold. We came back and none of the department heads even had an inkling or a desire to go there. But yet the supervisors get blamed for that.
We were told
Nobody
that,
talks to us as department heads all through this, the last year. Nobody's come in and say, what do you need? Is this adequate? How are things working in the courthouse? Only thing people said, oh, how beautiful the front of the courthouse is. You've never said, what's it like on the inside? Is there things you could use, or do you have enough space? But the Friends of the Courthouse don't care about that. And I get worked up about it, and I apologize if I've said some things to you in the past, but after a while you listen to all this and you do get emotional. Somebody needs to speak up and protect the people. I tried to do that at the Osage one, and Lanny Hepner got up and says, well, we'll get you gas masks and hard hats.
Well, I can't speak for other people, I can only speak, and I understand
I'm
that, I understand the old courthouse is dysfunctional.
Penny.
I understand it's dysfunctional. I
But
mean,
you never have come out and said that.
it's dysfunctional, and if it couldn't be made functional, then that has to be, is there any way to make it functional? I mean, personally, I liked the plan where you build something behind it and cut off those wings, and, here's my own personal Penny Morse thought, as Mark Watt likes to say. you know, people should be willing to raise some money because it's going to be more expensive to keep the courthouse. You know, I haven't really asked if anybody else will be willing to do it, but if people are passionate enough about it, they ought to be willing to raise some money so that we could keep it. But I can't speak for other people.
You should have brought this up 2 years ago, raising the money.
Well, that was the whole point of writing grants.
Now is not the time when we have to move forward to sit and try to see for 2 years whether we can raise money in that, and in the meantime, we sit here on hold. It's not, plus, it's still a dysfunctional building. It's time that we move forward.
And look what it's
This is
cost.
what you guys agreed to. Now I expect you to uphold what you agreed to.
This has been coming at the county for years. You can go back and look at all the letters, and Dave Randall, he's been in there and out of there so many times, fixing roofs and shoring up trusses and ceilings, and
Go clear back to 2006 when WHKS engineers just basically condemned that whole roof structure. 2006. This is 2013, 7 years later. And here we are, you know, playing
Why
cat and mouse.
didn't past boards look at that building 25, 30 years, 40 years ago and start doing something to it, but they didn't. Only thing they did, they put an elevator in to meet the ADA, and they moved the engineer out, and they put a nice magistrate court up there. That's the nicest building or room that's probably in that courthouse, except for a few years ago, 2009, when they spent $60,000 on recorder's office. It was only going to be about 25, 30. That's everything. Every time anything's got done in that building, it's about double what it is. You open something up, well, this is wrong, that's wrong. That's why things have kind of come to a halt. I've tried to get the wiring changed in there by electricians. They come in, they look and see what's involved, and they can't get out of there fast enough.
I mean, I've always said to people, I mean, I do defend you guys in the public all the time. You know, may not believe it, but I do. I mean, there was no way to fix what needed to be fixed without emptying out of the building. And to your credit, you took seriously the problems in the courthouse. Now, I might have wished that you'd proceeded differently, that you just would have let that thing go forward last summer, because like I said, it may help you sell a new courthouse, because I have no idea. I didn't think $5 million was really enough for it. And if you couldn't have come up with a plan, you know, to satisfy the needs of the community in a budget the community would accept, people would accept a new courthouse. But it's sort of, things got mixed up. That's all I can say. But to your credit, you took the problems seriously. Well, I didn't, you know, say that we're not, I didn't have that, you know, I went down in good faith to meet with the architect while you guys had decided not to hire him. You know, he scanned all of the drawings for the courthouse and brought them back as a flash drive, and then you dismissed him. And he handed it to me in the parking lot. And so he gave permission for these architects to use those drawings. He said if they're helpful, you go ahead, which was nice of him to do that. But I was rather embarrassed by how he was treated personally. You know, I just would have treated, you know, I just would have dealt with it differently. And I'm willing to work with you guys. If there was a way to, would the community be willing to raise some money? If they want to, you know, keep that, I don't know.
Raise money fast enough.
Well, but would anybody commit to, we'll raise this much money, make a commitment? I don't know, but we didn't ask.
We're not going to drag this thing out another year.
You've already had your options for the advisory committee, and that was done last week.
Are all these people that you want to raise money, are they going to then want to have a say in how it's done and what's spent?
Well, no, it would be like for a particular plan. It wouldn't be like, it would be this for this.
Okay.
You know, it would be one of the plans that you approved.
Let's move on. We've had enough discussion on this.
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Here's my thought. Do you want to do away with that?
You lose all options of, you know, there's like a lot of other things in the county that we can work on and get funds for. You know, like the Hamlin-Garland Homestead, getting it on the National Historic Register. That was one of the things we were going to work on.
Well, here's my thought then. We've had Mark draw up this resolution. We don't need to act on it today. You come back next week and tell us how it's going to be different going forward.
Well, I would always, I've always tried to tell you guys, come to our meetings, because I think it would be good if you guys came and had input.
Oh, we'd like to have you come and give us a report once in a while.
Okay.
But, and then you might want to tell your members on that commission, you know, you may need to get new commission members because I don't think they're, you know, totally honest. But that's my feeling. The rest of these guys can do what they want. But I'm willing to give you another chance. But if I see any more of this crap in the paper, then I'm for it. I'd say we nix it.
Like I said, I can't I mean, I can try to have input, but I
You make
can't.
quite a good case there for us.
You got 20 minutes of film that you can show the rest of them our feelings. I think it was made pretty obvious this morning how the Board of Supervisors feel on what's going on. So you don't have to express it to them, you just make sure they watch it.
Should we have Mark write up that resolution?
I can just draft something up and bring it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, let's second it. Draft something up and then come next week, let's see what we hear.
Been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Morel.
Aye.
Vote
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion
Put
carried.
that down for next week, well,
Anything else for me?
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
I got a meeting in Mason City, Chiefs and Sheriff's meeting.
We have the sheriff's report for February.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
How many did we have this last week?
There's 3 now, standing, there was 8 last weekend, so.
Bad boys last weekend, huh?
Well, judgment and sentence, you know,
Oh, okay, yeah, where they have to put their
Yeah.
2 days in or whatever,
yeah,
okay.
drunk driving, things like that from 5-6 months ago, and they stacked up this.
So
weekend,
weekends are a little busier than,
They are, yeah, a couple bookends.
What's your feeling on the drunk bus?
What's that?
What's your feeling on that drunk bus?
You know what?
That-
Um,
What do they call it?
Yeah, the safe ride?
Safe ride.
Safe ride, here's my feeling. You can look at it like, you know, maybe that's enabling people to get intoxicated and it gets them home. But the thing is, it keeps them off the street. I support it, I really do. I think
It's a safety issue.
it is. I first read about that up in Wisconsin a couple of winters ago, and I was up there riding snowmobile. Well, that's kind of a novel idea, and it came here to Osage, and I really think it's a good thing. Yeah, I do, just from the safety standpoint.
Well, you can
know?
go out and you may be only thinking you're gonna have 1 or 2.
Right.
You run into some friends and the next thing you know, everybody's got deep pockets and
Yes.
they start stacking them up in front of you.
Yep, and I think the other communities are starting to use it. I think it's in St. Ansgar, Stacyville.
I just was curious.
I think it's a good option. Yeah, I really do.
And it's not that they're totally intoxicated, but they might be just that smidge over.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
don't need that either.
right, so.
Motion to approve the sheriff's report.
Second?
okay, let's see. It's been moved and second to approve the sheriff's report, further discussion. Hearing none, Boatlander.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Anything else with?
Just real briefly, all our law enforcement contracts have been paid, so that's a good thing. You'll see on that report half a camera. That was something that Kurt agreed to pay with the county attorney's office after the Noah Crooks thing, so the bill's just coming in for that. So that's installed up and running, so that was a good update. And then probation fees are starting to show up, so that's good too. So that's all I have. Okay.
Are you having any progress on trying to see if other institutions or that can use our facility or?
Well, actually where I'm headed this morning is Chiefs and Sheriff's meeting in Mason City, so that may come up. I may get a chance to talk to some of the sheriffs over there if they're also there. Other than that, Stan, I have not talked to anyone, no.
Okay.
How about the board? Have you guys run into any of the board members from adjacent counties and had an opportunity?
How far away do you want them?
He gets cleared out the team.
Well,
Report
So that's the other
over
thing.
here.
I mean, you
how
gotta
far
think
they want
about,
to bring them?
well, that too.
You know what?
You know, but
I still like it. I don't know if you ever reviewed my idea on the state, holding state,
Yeah, I think
you
it's
know,
probably a good
inmates. I
idea.
think that's something that. I gotta get
You
the
would
right
think
back
the
in
state
behind
would wanna do something like that when it costs $100 and some from the state a day is what they say. And, you know, if we're willing to do it for,
me. Seems pretty obvious and a good common sense approach, and
well,
so I don't know.
that's why it was thrown out right away. Common sense was involved.
Yeah. So there's a couple things on the table. Like I said before, timing's everything, and so.
Well, like I say, you know, we talked about, you know, even like Howard County or any of those counties around that, you know, have an aging jail or whatever. And I'm
Right.
thinking, you know, if we can work halfway with them, you know, even help transporting or whatever.
Absolutely. Yep.
It makes ours, you know,
Yep. I'd be willing to do that. You know, we can work it out. Absolutely. So.
Stan's an old bus driver.
Yeah. We can work it out, whatever we need to do if the opportunity arises.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep our eyes and ears open.
I think so. I think it's a good thing to pursue. So,
Okay.
okay,
Anything else for?
I don't have anything, Greg.
okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It says, Mr. Broom.
Morning.
You're up.
Everybody today?
We are great. Blood pressure's going down again here in the last 5 minutes, so.
Good. I went out last Friday to some dealerships to look for, my first option was to look, I went to Mason City and then I had my own vehicle to take to Charles City, so I was down there. I took a thing down there for the dealers to look at as far as, it's not a common way to bid vehicles, but I said, can you find something on a lot that meets the requirements here? And if you can't, then I'll decide whether or not we order. We can still order 2013 3/4 pickups. They take probably 6 to 8 weeks to get. Now,
Well, this is to replace the one that
this
caught
is the one
fire.
that caught fire. Now we've
Is
been,
that gonna be able to be fixed?
I
Or
think it will be able to be fixed. There's a lot of unknowns yet with
Okay.
it. We've got one quote back from an auto body.
They had totaled it.
No, well, we didn't give it to the insurance company yet. We just got the quotes from the auto body people that are around, the one we got I think is around $5,600, but there's some unknowns in there yet because nobody went in and stripped stuff away to see what else is damaged. But $5,600 on a 2010 pickup, I doubt they'll total it. But I talked to Mark a little bit too, and I think I maybe told you guys last week, maybe we can put it back in our fleet and get rid of some of our older stuff that's wearing
Yeah,
off.
it's fixable.
So, I'm waiting to get some information back from other dealers first. I said, you give me what you can find on a lot, we'll evaluate it and see if it's got the things that we really need to have. If not, we may turn to ordering. Now, it sounds like Ford has really good fleet incentives and none of the other ones do. Just basically getting some numbers back from some preliminary things, I think it's gonna be a Ford 3/4 ton pickup, but we'll find out for sure.
Which one burned up?
The half-ton Ford. So, everybody's surprised when I tell the dealers that this happened, but, you know, we don't know really what happened.
No, I'm not surprised.
And I don't, sure why.
Most said the Ford dealer now?
Yes, I went to Community in Mason City too, and I got some information back from them already. And then I told everybody, I'll give them until Friday to give me some information, and then if we do need to order, we still have time to order something. So, that being said, I want to bring to you guys April 2nd meeting, a proposed budget and plan for our projects for a 5-year, my 5-year plan and budget and plan's gotta be in by the 15th, so I'm gonna bring it to you a little early in case we need to look at some other things. So, I'll try to get that to you in a second. I'll have to look into,
Would you have that on, can you forward that on the email?
I think I can print it out and scan it in for you guys to look at if you want.
I mean, it would be helpful if we had a day or two before.
Yeah,
the meeting.
I understand, yep, no, that's fine, I can do that. And then I got an email from Howard County, we still haven't worked on that bridge there on the county line on that road, that Walnut. And he was asking about he's thinking about maybe farm to market funds now. We've been going back and forth between local dollars and, because they have some TIF money left, so we've been kind of going back and forth yet, so.
Walnut?
Yeah, north, it was the one that they, I'm sorry,
Addison?
Addison, the county line.
Well,
We won't give
back
them all
in
that
there.
land.
What's that?
We won't give them all that land.
Oh, we could, it'd be a nice one to get rid of. So, anyway, I'm gonna look at that with them a little bit and see where we're at, with FM dollars. I know I put it in the program already for local, so we'll have the money for them, but,
Which group is that on Addison?
it's.
How far north?
Oh, I can't recall now how far north.
Northwestville.
It's 2 or 3 miles north. It's a little bitty bridge they're gonna put a box culvert in.
Oh, okay.
And they left the approaches alone, they paved up to the approaches so that when they do replace
Oh,
it.
they didn't?
No,
Okay.
they didn't, this won't take on any of any paving.
Okay.
And that was estimated at, they were thinking maybe, they said estimate $100,000, so we did, and I think it probably ended up being less, but
Getting pulled with those guys over there,
in Howard County, what kind of pool?
don't fix that bridge down by that auction, so.
Oh, yeah,
our
see,
local-
we were gonna
our
talk
local
about that.
friendly Mennonites won't have to be using our hard surface roads so much. You know, they can get there almost on gravel. The worst would be they'd have to cross over.
We brought that up a little while ago, and it was more of a, maybe the two boards ought to talk about what's going on, because he's looking at having to put quite a bit of money into building a new bridge versus the ordinance. Versus the I mean, that's something that you guys maybe need to work out with their board.
Versus what ordinance?
On road protection.
Our ordinance?
Yeah.
What's it got to do with them?
Well,
You drop the
That's-
ordinance, they pay the bridge.
You do
That'd be
it.
fun, you drop the ordinance and they pay for the bridge, that'd be.
Well,
I
the
can live
thing
with that,
that's-
Jim.
what they're
Because,
saying,
you know, because basically all we want is not driving up and down our hard surface roads all the time.
well, I don't think it's that so much as, can we be lenient on our ordinance so they don't have to build a bridge?
Oh,
That's what
that's-
they're asking.
No.
And that's, I said, I told the engineer there, I said, that's something between the two boards to deal with, not us. I know, but he's like, I don't wanna sit here and spend, you know,
Okay,
$500,000-$600,000
can
on
they
a bridge.
abandon that road and give it to the Mennonites? Because I see
Well-
they've already built a walking bridge across it. They could probably build something for themselves.
I don't know, it's something that he had asked me about a while ago, and I said, maybe your board needs to contact our board if they're concerned about the ordinance itself and trying to be a little bit lenient.
Well, it would surely,
Because I know he's getting pressure from the other side about building a bridge, and he doesn't wanna build a bridge because it's too expensive for the low volume road that it is.
well, throw some of those
Well,
grain cart things
Maybe
in
he
there.
can, maybe they can do that too, I don't, you know,
I mean, that's not so expensive, but
that's for them to
then they have
decide.
absolutely no reason, you know, at worst, they gotta cross over. And all the folks from Howard County can get
If they had
there.
a restricted bridge that'll hold a horse
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah,
a wagon and whatnot,
How about that one up by Ocrano? Isn't that one for sale?
yeah.
the one by Ocrano, the one that's gone.
No, no.
Oh, that old pony truss, yeah, that's on the historic.
Oh, this would be a historic bridge for them. There you go, Penny, there's a job for you.
Anyway.
But no, I mean, that's something, this season's coming up. and
I know. And he asked about it, and I said, maybe your board needs to get a hold of our board, and I don't know where he took it from there, but if they wanna wheel and deal, that's not my department.
Well, we're not gonna wheel and deal and ruining our roads so that they can save the,
Oh, but here's what I'm thinking, they went through, willing to throw $1.5 million in this box culvert on Addison.
No, it's, well, not $1.5 million, it's
Well-
200,000.
Oh,
Half of the 100 is ours.
okay,
So,
but anyway, I mean, do something on that road to at least help those folks get to their auction thing.
That's
Anyway,
their
that's-
business, and I
It
know,
is, but I
we've
just-
had that chat, and I think maybe it needs to start at the supervisor level for those guys to discuss, because that was the idea, was, I think your board will loosen up a little bit. I said, hey, that's not even me, that's,
The thing is, it isn't just that road that's being ruined. Going primrose, it's getting all,
have you,
your tires make a different sound.
I was just gonna ask you about that,
Jumping
when I drove
streets
back
out.
from Charles City on Friday, going north, you can really hear the tire slap on those joints. And the minute you get away from there, it really significantly is reduced.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the only road they're ruining, it's just,
Maybe we need to add
you
it.
know, they drive them all
Well-
over the place, right in front of my house even. You know, up Highway 9, 218. So, I don't know.
One into their supervisors over there, I mean, I'll ask them about it, you know. You don't have to build the, bridge over the River Kwai, you know, just something that they can use to get to and from on gravel.
We can have that,
It's
I'll
not
have that,
our- it's not your
I'm sure that
problem.
conversation may come up, because we are now him, Howard County and myself, and then Tama County, we're gonna be doing that presentation for me, so I'm gonna tell some of the, get you guys up for some tip information. And I'll be talking to Jim Waring and getting some pictures too of the construction of these towers right here, and how the contractors were to work with them, what they paid for, and things like that. That was kind of on the tail end of when I came in on the tail end of all that stuff to get the information. So, that being said, I can have another conversation with him about that down there at the auction house. But I know he brought it up once about, hey, so.
Well, that's the one guy said, that bridge had been out there before, they never would have dealt there.
So, I think next year, before winter, I don't really care what it costs, but I'm gonna put an ad or a notice in the paper again about pushing snow. We broke a plow today because apparently on Friday somebody pushed slush across the road and didn't get all the way across, and our motor grader hit it and busted a, I don't know if it was the front plow or the wing.
I thought it was illegal to do that.
It is. And you see it everywhere, and most of the times people push it off into the ditch and it doesn't really affect us. I see it in all other counties too. I traveled, when I went down to the paving workshop 2 weeks ago, I took gravel down there, and every county has got people pushing snow across the road, and you just can't get everybody. But the reason there's a law is because we end up breaking stuff, and that's what happened today. So,
We're sending the bill.
I wish.
Even though we might not want to enforce it, we ought to really send them the bill and let them, have that public discussion.
You know, what we're gonna get when you do that is, well, and I had this, I stopped and physically talked to somebody. I was out checking the route to see how, I was checking Butch's route to see how he was doing, because I know he's got a tough route with a lot of dead ends, and I wanted to kind of see how he was doing, and he's doing pretty good. It's just that I got to one location over by Otrano, and there was a pile of snow halfway on the road. Somebody cleaned out their yard and put it right on the edge of the road, where I pulled up the driveway and I informed the person. I said, you can't be doing it. He said, well, I'm not doing any worse than anybody else. I said, you might, we can't catch everybody, but you left it on the road where if two cars met, somebody was gonna hit that pile of snow. I said, can you please push it off it? Because he's got a field driveway right across his road. I said, can you push it through the field driveway and let it set in the field? At least you're out of the right of way. But at least he got it off the road and got it out of away of our wing. But, we could be writing letters till the end of time trying to get people to stop, and it's gonna be, well, you don't enforce him, but you enforce me. I said,
But that's why it wouldn't hurt just to send the
Right.
bill on this one,
Well,
even though,
I just said, I can't catch everybody. It's like the sheriff's department catching speeders. You can only catch the ones you see.
Maybe we need to put a notice in at the beginning of winter.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think I need to put something in the papers again, and I don't know that we did before, but we probably need to say, hey, this is a reminder, and if we start seeing it, we need to kind of enforce it, because, everybody, we're trying to get out as early as we can to get the roads plowed, and then we're breaking stuff. That's a couple hours time to be down when your route could be that much further ahead, all because somebody wants to get rid of the slush and doesn't want to put it in their yard.
So,
Anyway, that's just kind of my gripe for today.
Legitimate.
So, the only other thing I had was, I don't know if you got my email on Friday.
I wasn't here.
We were establishing.
In Des Moines, so.
I
didn't get it on the agenda then.
What's that? And I don't know if it needs to be or not. We can take care of it as general business too, maybe. Merlin's 6 month was up here a while back, and I kind of told you guys we're going to look at salary and whatnot. I did some research. When Tom left, he was around $53,000 a year for salary, and I did some research on what they report in the Service Bureau website on all counties and what they pay their supervisors. Now, some counties are paying 4 supervisors to the job that we have 1 doing.
We have 4. Oh, you're the road supervisor.
Road supervisor, I'm sorry. And so what I did is I kind of took the average of District 2. Now, some of them are reporting, some of them have hourly employees, some of them have salaried employees. So I took the average and added some overtime to the hourly guys because they're getting overtime and the other ones aren't. And then I took the average of the state. The average state, and this is just for 1 person, is around $56,000. And that includes overtime. The average for District 2 is around 53. We're where Tom was at. So I took and looked at what we were paying Merlin per hour, and if we put him on an hourly rate, keeping his existing rate of $22.36, he can meet that District 2 average.
53. 53 or 56.
It'll be the District 2 average of 53, somewhere in there, and that all depends on how bad the snows are. It fluctuates back and forth. Worth County's superintendent or supervisor, road foreman, is on hourly rates, and he's running around 55, and he's got a little bit higher hourly rate. So I don't think it's unfair. I think he's way underpaid for the position. I mean, we've got a mechanic that's making not much below what he's making now, and Merlin's up at 2 in the morning checking roads. And it just, I think it's a fair thing to do. He can then earn some comp time and whatever else for all these other hours he's putting in. So kind of puts him back. And I don't know the history behind why it was ever switched to salary. I think at one time Jim gave the foreman the option to either go hourly or salary and based it on that.
He wants to stay hourly?
He wants to go hourly instead of salary, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I can see that, with,
So,
you know, if you get the overtime.
I kind of told him I'd bring it to you guys to see if I get your blessing, and then we'll go from there. I've got the paperwork all ready to go to give to Lowell if you guys are okay with it, but I don't think it's I don't think it's out of the realm for the hourly rate for what he's doing. So
I guess I'd like to think about it a week, whether or not we want to change from hourly to or from salary to hourly.
That's fine, but
I wanted to try
Worth
to
County's
get.
already doing it, right?
They've always been there.
They've always
you know.
been there.
And I don't know, like I said, I think Jim gave the option either way to whoever wanted to do it, and so I just wanted to get it done. I finally got a chance to sit down and talk to Merlin. I wanted to get it done before the next pay. But
What does that figure out if he has no overtime and just a 40-hour week?
if it stays the way it is at a 40-hour week, it's the same salary of $46,500. That's what he's making right now, and that's why we need to reevaluate it, because it's
So he doesn't want to,
he doesn't want to go salary.
yeah, so I mean, he's just going to stay at that rate then if he has a normal
That's
week.
if you don't have overtime, yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Hmm.
But, you know, with the snow and everything else, he just, you know, he wants to be able to earn the overtime and the comp time, and
Well, then, I can see that. I mean, if you don't have bad winters, you don't have all this.
because otherwise, I think his salary, if he was going to go salary, I think he should be at around 53,000, which is what this hourly rate would put him at with the average overtime that he's been, you know, what we've kind of been seeing for snow. So either way, it's kind of what I'm asking. The benefit is if we have a light winter, he's not making as much as he could. There's goods and bads to both, but
No, the reason I'd rather wait a week is, a few years ago, basically, Sheriff Yonker came and explained that instead of 12 prisoners, we could get 18 from Moore County. And then about 3 months later, he explained that we needed a second jailer. And he wanted basically us to make that decision that day. We didn't really have time to think it through, and truthfully, we made a bad decision. And I'm not trying to, I'd just as soon on all of these things that we have a week to think about it, as opposed to we do it right now. It doesn't give us really the time to think about some things that.
okay.
Put that under engineer next week.
I sent an email out, and I didn't know if you might get it in time, because I know you were gone at your schooling, so. But I thought maybe if it could be under general business.
Yep.
So.
It doesn't matter if we wait one more week, is it?
I just wanted to try to get it in because on the next pay period begins the 23rd, so that would be on Saturday, so I was trying to get it in there, but we'll just.
You can
Well,
retro it.
but like I say, I really want the time to think about it because we made a bad decision that time,
I don't think that's,
and it looks simple and this and that, but there may be a reason, and I don't.
okay.
I mean, I just don't like things thrown at us.
No, I
and we gotta-
understand. So,
What else?
at any rate, that's, I think, what I've got for you this week. We've got some plans to turn in, and
I found that in a recent article, I thought maybe the top one. Don't know if it works in your situation, maybe
looks
it
like a
does,
heavy
maybe it
road
doesn't.
groomer. Looks like a heavy road groomer.
That's what it is. FYI.
Okay.
At least 60 horse to pull it, which isn't
We
bad.
got that, but,
Yeah, you got double that, I think.
yeah, we do.
But anyway,
Anything else? I sent you guys an email about a little slip and fall we had here last week. Did you guys all get that?
yeah.
Alright.
So he's back working, no problems?
Yep. And he just took the rest of the day off. He just had pretty hard. The glass is kind of cut. I haven't talked to him yet. But
Claudia was informed, wasn't she?
yeah.
Okay, if nothing else for the county engineer, then we'll jump down to item 7, enterprise zone resolutions. Ms. Dreyer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Rich.
You look bright-eyed and cheery.
Yeah, felt like I coasted in on the ice today.
That were the roads.
No, I'm surprised mine's not so good. St. Edgar's now canceled, so.
Really?
uh-huh.
Yeah, I was drifting all night, so.
Yeah, it was. So, anyway, last month, I believe, some point in time, you approved a Riceville Enterprise Zone extension. We are able to take all of our current enterprise zones and extend them out another 10 years. To refresh everybody's memory, we have about 4,000 acres in an enterprise zone in the county.
About 3,000.
Yeah, I thought it was like 3,700.
No.
Why should I ever
Just-
begin to debate him on numbers? But anyway, so we have a lot of acres that we need to act on, and what we're doing is we're doing it by quarter, so that we can more or less control a little bit of the traffic into Des Moines, because the enterprise zone in the county recommends to you, you approve, and then the final approval sits with the Iowa Economic Development Authority Board of Directors, and so they consider those every month, and so the agreement I have with them is that they're going to come in quarterly. In addition to 10 zone extensions today, we also need to consider the creation of a new zone in the community of McIntyre. And I was a little surprised to find out that the McIntyre building had never been put into an enterprise zone. We'd be remiss if we didn't have that tool in place to assist the community in marketing that building. And so I think we should start first tonight, if it works well for you, that we would consider the creation of actually 2 new zones in the community of McIntyre. The first zone would be the actual McNilius facility, which sits on a little over 15 acres. Did I get that right, Mr. Long? 15.4, I think.
See, the enterprise zone can only be 1% of the land in the county.
Yeah, so that's why he knows that, yes. So, so this is the McIntyre McNilius facility, and we need to get busy and assist that community. The other thing that the McIntyre Council is doing, and I have to applaud them because they're being very forward-thinking, they are working to try to figure out where they could do some housing development. And so they've identified a potential willing landowner that would be interested in developing some land adjacent to the Falk Quarry in McIntyre. Now, we have checked the flood maps. There is a good portion of this land that would be eligible for development, and so we would be also asking that this zone be created, and it's 3.8 acres for the purpose of housing. So this can be done in one resolution, and I've got that created, and I have a copy for your files. So it would be to create 2 new enterprise zones in McIntyre, one at 15.4 and one at 3.8.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we create 2 new zones in McIntyre. Further discussion. Hearing none. Morel.
Aye.
Bopander.
Aye.
Walk. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, and here, well, what I've done with all of these, I warned Lo that I needed a 10 resolution numbers. Here would be your
Okay.
resolutions, and then I have extra copies for you for your files, and then I'll take the originals and send those to Des Moines, but they require, am I correct, Mr. Walk, you're still in the chair? Haven't booted you out of your chair position? No, so anyway, those will be those two. Okay, while Lowell is signing these, I gotta be careful I don't lose my paperwork. We have 10 zones that need to be extended. To be official, I think I should go through all of them, tell you the size and what the numbers are, and then, Lowell, do you think we need to act on them separately, or can we act on all, or what do we?
I would say all of them.
Okay, or, I mean, is that,
That's okay with
okay,
the
I
board.
just,
As long as we go through them, I guess that should
yep,
count.
and that's where, and then Lowell will have copies, so he can tell you how many acres and what we're extending. There are 5 in Osage. Osage 1 is 0.5 acres. Now, to refresh everybody's memory, Osage is a large enough town. In some of the other communities, we were able to include much, there's fewer zones because it's easier to connect the zones. In Osage, there had to be, I think we're up to 15 or 16 zones in Osage, just because we had to create around where potential housing could occur. And so, hang in there. So Osage 1 is 0.5 acres. And here's Osage 2 is 6.05 acres. Osage 3 is 4 acres. And again, what you're acting on is to extend these out another 10 years. So let's see. Osage 4 is 159.95 acres.
What does that include? That's
That would be the industrial areas.
Okay,
That would be the industrial
just out of
areas.
curiosity.
Yep, those, it's in all the industrial areas. Osage 5 is 0.6 acres. Some of you were on the enterprise zone board when all these little ones were approved. Okay, then we have Mona, EZ3, and that is 554.83. That's the absolute neighborhood. Okay, then we get to the St. Ansgar zones. St. Ansgar has a total of 3 zones, and 2 of them we have to act on because they were created very early on. St. Ansgar 1 is 4.5 acres. And St. Ansgar 2A, this one has been one that's been modified a few times, 796.9 acres. Obviously includes the industrial parks and some areas south of the community. So
That one basically did not include the main town because again, we didn't have enough acres. And what you have is a fill-in here and a fill-in there, that's why. But it basically everything around town that was possible, that's why it ended up being as large as it.
yep, so Stacyville 1 is 0.5 acres. And Stacyville 2 is 2.75 acres. And there's
What
a,
was the first one in Stacyville?
Stacyville 1 is 0.5.
0.5, okay.
Yep. And next time, you'll see me back June or July to do another batch that are set to expire in the fall. And in that mix will be the Stacyville industrial area. That's actually Stacyville 3. So, do you have numbers, Lowell, for these? Or?
Sorry, I don't right now, but I can do them.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this one with you, and then if you would just, this one, I'm gonna need numbers on all these, but I can wait and mail those in once you have those, so.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the 10 easy zone extensions in Virginia.
Did you make a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
So I moved in second that we approved the extension for 10 years.
It's my bad ear.
I know.
Well, the one thing about it is truthfully, you know, I think there's only, what, 25% of the counties that are.
Well, who knows what the number is.
But, you know, that's something that really, in one respect, all counties should have this ability, it really does make a world of difference, as we know, but in any event, it's been moved in second. Further discussion. Hearing none, Voigtlander.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Why don't we take a 5-minute recess while we sign papers?
Good idea, Chairperson Law.
Of course.
Just good ideas. Okay, that
Well,
one's
that-
up.
that was
That's
done.
Lowell's.
Well, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep track of these.
You have a seat if you like.
Oh, I'm good, I'm fine.
Hi, Barry.
Hello, Brenda. How are you?
Always have one of these snacks.
So Brenda, are any of those zones where the new fertilizer plant's gonna go?
I'm not at liberty to talk about that project.
Oh, well, it's in the paper.
You have my comments, they're in the paper. Get back to this meeting. Lowell's going a little quicker than you are, Mr. Walsh. You're slowing down.
It takes a little longer to get this.
And that is for. Lowell's another who wants to fill out this copycat.
Get you those numbers.
No, just, you want to just email them to me? I'll plug them in before I send it to Des Moines. Okay, that is for, it's here.
I don't understand how you can be faster than
And you'll just insert them into your own copies then.
Slowing down.
Too slowing down.
You stay up.
Better not.
No, it's probably not a good idea for something like this.
They aren't particular about which color nickel you use
No,
either.
they're not particular. Okay, this
Some places are.
is that one. I know.
Passwords, they have to be in black. Sometimes blue. Seems like a lot more than 10.
Well, you're signing of 20, or it'll be 22 done
Okay,
signatures
I wondered.
or copy for your files.
Oh, since we can try it. Now you know why we're not doing how many of these at one meeting. So,
How many zones do we have all together?
you know,
20?
I'm not really sure. More than that.
30?
I think probably more than 30. You know, I consider them only have 5 done of Osages, and they've got like 17 or something, so.
for the same reason. Couldn't really do the whole town, you know.
I'm glad for McIntyre we got that business taken care of. Should have been done a long time ago.
We got a new leadership up there.
No, I mean, it's just really, Bob, you've been there, they've been
Where's
real
this?
positive and outside
Oh,
the box.
McIntyre?
Yes,
Yep,
so
yep,
it's
they're
been
kinda-
fun to,
Well,
fun
they
to
got
work
new,
with them.
new board members, you know,
Yeah.
and a new mayor,
New exciting.
younger.
That's State Main Street.
Nice paved
Nice
Main
Main
Street, yeah,
Street.
it must have been that road that spurred everything,
I'll
huh?
tell you what,
You'd be surprised what a good road can do.
that's right.
I heard about that yesterday too, on Lost Avenue down by Orchard, you know, now that people are developing out there, you know. Yep, big roads make a difference, and people all over say, you know, what good roads Mitchell County has.
It
you
does.
know.
It's very true.
Especially those that live up where they go into another state or another county quite often. They find out about every day what the difference
Yeah,
is.
you know what the state line is, don't you?
You bet. You
And
have
this
to drive down
close,
a lot
Mr.
on the mail route up there.
Hmm?
End is
You
near.
know, ours would be clean, Minnesota
And
wouldn't
you're
touch
up
it.
to absolute.
I am out to absolute, so.
Your mail route going to Minnesota?
I drove the state
Oh,
line.
state line, not county, not state line.
And you're gonna be up for lunch?
Yep.
It used to. It used to travel over about.
I just moved it up the roundabout.
The stops.
I don't know that I had.
I'm trying to decide what the best
And
way
somebody
is
in
to
the
get up
postal
there.
service got the bright
It's
idea to,
218.
come across the state lines, and we started over here.
Actually,
Oh,
No,
gosh, I'm not sure.
9 was not very good.
Other side of Riceville, but
I'm not so sure I wouldn't take 9
They got over
Al
here
Wood's
to
house?
and pass my place and
Lake
then
Mills
take
or
105.
Emmons or
You get a lot more protection, I think.
There's one guy up on.
Oh, I can wire
actually-
I tried to call you yesterday and I couldn't get you the telephone number, you got the telephone book? Give me your telephone number.
Some genius in the.
I wanted to get on the agenda sheet for today.
Can't be crossed.
Well, it would have been too late at that point.
Federal.
You know, yeah, what's the deal, you know?
See, this
Well, they
one,
took that
this
6
one
years,
was just
whatever.
created too new. This is the
Land, and then going
McIntyre
there, so,
one. Representative McIntyre. Okay, this is yours.
Floyd Smith. up
Have a
there.
wonderful day, gentlemen.
Yep.
Get out of your hair. Move on down the road.
I'm glad you got to see us.
Yeah.
I was gonna call you and tell you what I wanted.
Yep. Just 8223946, push option 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're back in the session. Let's hit 9:30, number 6, presentation by Barry Estes. Eustace?
Eustace, yes.
Yeah,
How are you, gentlemen?
that too. Good.
Good. Gentlemen, I'm here today as a representative of Northwestern Mutual Financial Networks, and recently I opened up my own industry up in St. Ansgar. So I'm a local gentleman. I live in St. Ansgar, but I'm local up there. And what I'd like to do is pass you a little bit of information just about, that's just some of the things about us. I'll let you get that, Sam. Let me just talk a little bit about Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual is one of the highest rated financial services network companies if not one of the, it is the highest rated in the country. And it's been around since 1858, headquarters in Milwaukee. And what we do is we have a wide array of services. We have insurance from life, disability, long-term care, and a whole array of, and the whole spectrum of investments. And what I would like to do, obviously, would be come in, talk to your employees of all of Mitchell County, and see if any of those folks would be interested in our services. What's different about us than other insurance agencies is I don't sit down with people and write a document. As a matter of fact, that's the last thing that we do as a company. We don't do that. What we do is we actually take them through a process, and the process, each employee would get a plan. The plan looks something like this. And the plan is a personal needs analysis, and we would meet with them annually, and they would go through this, and they would be talking about their personal needs, desires, things of that nature. What we do is we work with them to get that, and to make sure that they are realizing all of their dreams. So what's different about us than maybe other insurance companies is that we would not be just selling insurance and walking away. We're going to be in St. Ansgar. I'm local. They can call me anytime, any place, and they all know, most of the folks probably would even know who I am and know my home phone number if they need something in an emergency. The process that we do is really rather unique, and I do have some local clients around here, and I think that some of those folks would also agree with me on that. Gentlemen, I'm going to try to keep this as brief and then ask any and offer any questions, but the one thing you're going to get from Northwestern Mutual, for Mitchell County employees, is this. I'm local. I will be around anytime that they have questions, comments, concerns. Number two, you're going to get one of the best, and if you look in those, we're rated by Moody's, Standards & Poor's. We have the top ratings and everything across the board. This company is well funded and it is well respected in the industry. And third, and I think this is where it's a very unique part, well, I'm a local agent and I would be the agent to everybody. I have a wide array of services that I have available to me, experts, if you will, for agricultural, large estate problems. So any of these employees that have an issue like that, I have a resource of 50 to 60 different people that I would be able to get to them and help them out, and that is a free service. It is not something that they would have to pay if they're a part of Northwestern Mutual, one of our clients. So with that, gentlemen, I don't want to waste a lot of your morning. I know you guys are real busy. Do you have any questions?
Lowell, when was
April 18th.
April 18th, we basically set that day aside that we have all of the employees come in and on different groups. I mean, they're not all here at once.
Sure.
We have 4 different times.
During the day?
Yeah, first
Okay.
would start at 7:30 out at secondary roads with them and the conservation.
Okay.
And then we'd have meetings with the employees, probably like at 9, 10:30, and 1 approximately. So.
Okay. Okay.
And those are required meetings for the employees.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Occasionally there's some that aren't going to be there, but
There's how many other companies normally?
usually we have Walmart, but I don't believe they're going to be here this year. But then we'll have Aflac, we have Nationwide, we have another Family Services, so I got 4.
Okay.
And each speak 10, 15 minutes, and then you have the opportunity afterwards or the next day to set up meetings with individual employees.
So would you come back and then employees would come back and set up individual meetings, or you just give them a phone number and they would call you, or how does that work?
Well, we could set up a time and see what works with you, and
Okay.
Like a day or something.
Would I just kind of schedule this all with you, Lowell? Okay,
Mhm.
sure. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, we keep it pretty simple.
That's what I like. Keep it simple. Gentlemen, any other questions?
Do you have any problems then?
No.
Okay.
We'll put you down
Yeah.
for,
Fantastic.
you can be part of that.
So-
Say 10 to 15 minutes is what Lowell said.
At 4 different spots, right, Lowell? I mean, at 4 different areas?
No, it'd be 2 different areas.
2 different areas,
First one,
okay.
and then the other we'll probably try to do it.
So if I get a hold of you about a week or so before, I would know how many employees, that way I know how much, kind of brochures, things like
Yeah.
that. Okay, fantastic. All right, very good.
Yeah, you're probably looking at full-time people, roughly 80 or so.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Okay, let's go back to item 5. Approve the minutes.
I'll agree with him and make a motion to approve them.
I will second.
Been moved and second, we approve the minutes. Further discussion. Hearing none, Volklander.
Aye.
Royal.
Aye.
Watt, aye, motion carried. I think that's the first time I've ever seen an insurance salesman say it's gonna be short and brief, and it was.
Yeah, usually they're there 2 hours later.
Yeah. Just an arm behind your back.
No, I was impressed. Okay, let's see.
He's got insurance for if I run out of money.
Item 8, approve placing $893 in the Conservation Land Acquisition and Capital Improvement Fund, cans for conservation.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Morale.
Aye.
Wolflander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Item 9, meetings attended.
Mine was last Tuesday night and we canceled it because of the weather.
Yeah.
Freshman memory if
And just the meeting we had with the architects, I guess.
Yeah, other than that, we didn't have anything.
Okay, I did attend the Upper Cedar last Tuesday night, and there's a lot of interest. Matter of fact, what's going to happen is there's $1.5 million that's going to be made available for a project here in the 6-county or 7-county area of the Upper Cedar. But this is not going to that group per se. It will be going to a county, and that county will basically oversee how that money is being utilized. Part of it can be used for doing some research, but a lot of it should be able to be used on actual projects. There's watershed people over here. They've actually been working on some projects already. They would like to be able to, if possible, to submit an application. But again, it's basically going to take us to be a member of this group.
They are, aren't they?
Well, but we aren't.
So,
Larry,
members.
Larry, what's his last name? I can't think of the guy's last name. He has his doctorate anyway from the U of I. Pardon?
The soil and water guy?
Well, he's from the U of I. Larry Weber, yeah. He's a week from Thursday. He's going to be in the morning in Postville, and so he would like to come in the afternoon. Soil and Water would like to be here, and he would like to be able to. Can we get a screen possibly that he can show? Or maybe we can just shoot it.
Got a white wall there, yeah.
Yeah, we could just shoot. If we have to move the clock, we move the clock. He wants to do a little slide presentation and again, really show what the advantages are going to be for us. You know, we may or may not be able to, but they're going to decide by the end of May where this one zone, and God, I can't think of the name of that neither. I mean, they have all of these little hucks, little areas that basically they want to be able to work in one of those areas. We have a unique chance because we're the biggest area in the Upper Cedar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be number one on. There were 6 or 7 criteria right offhand. I mean, feasibility, trying to work with other groups. Can we partner with other people? What's the feasibility of us being able to get things done? And like I say, Soil and Water was really interested. They would manage the program if we were interested in trying to go that direction. So in any event, a week from Thursday then at 2 o'clock, we'll have that special meeting. Enterprise Zone, we basically approved of the same things that, so that was that meeting. And the other thing that I had on Friday morning, I went up to the listing post in Northwood because I was planning on going Saturday down to Mason City, and then I don't know why I didn't make that one. But Mary Jo was up there at Northwood. It was only 5 of us up there, so it was real easy to be able to get a lot of questions and that in. I was very disappointed that we got on gas tax. She asked the group. Matter of fact, Denny May was there. Richard Holstead, former supervisor from Worth County, was there. And then an individual I never knew that apparently worked on Mary Jo's campaign. And then Teresa Nicholson. That was the 5 of us that were at the listening post. And so she did ask how many of us favored increasing the gas tax 10%, and all of our hands went up. And then she explained that 5 years ago she said she campaigned against it, so she couldn't support it.
Who's this?
Mary Jo Wilhelm. And we sat there and explained that, hey, look, if you don't have good roads and bridges, you're not going to have economic development. That's the key. We need economic development in that, and it basically fell on deaf ears. I was very disappointed that Mary Jo basically works at trying to figure out why things can't operate as opposed to why can.
Well, they haven't had a tax increase in 23 years. And so that just points out that you have career politicians down there, basically. Not wanting to raise taxes, they just want to get reelected.
Yeah, nobody wants to raise taxes, but there's also a certain amount of stuff that has to be done.
You know, if they would have just put 1 penny on every year for 23 years, we'd be excited pretty.
Yeah, that'd be too easy, Bob.
You know? Yeah, back to the common sense thing, right?
That went out the window. I agree with that. Yeah,
Well, it's just like
I don't know if it'll pass either. Well, I mean,
Yes,
what's their feeling down at the State House?
you know, it's all over the place.
So maybe just want to use it as a card up somebody's sleeve that give me this, I'll give you that. I don't know.
At the forum Saturday, Josh said it didn't go through the transportation committee. It may yet still go through the one that deals with the budget or something. The sentiment of the crowd in St. Ansgar was the majority of people supported the gas tax for all the reasons you said. Few people were there against the gas tax, but the majority of people there were for the gas tax. That was dominated the discussion at the forum on Saturday too.
The gas tax?
Yeah, it was what people brought up, and a couple other things, but that was a big one.
I haven't been hearing hardly anything this year as to what's going on down there. It's just like everything's a big secret.
Oh, I got to forward, because I get that thing every week from our
Do that.
yeah,
From our lobbyists?
lobbyists.
Okay.
And I mean, you can email him, get on his list.
I will. Because I just think somehow in the middle of the night something's going to get slipped through and we're going to be crying because we didn't say anything, you know. Are we lower than the states around us with our gas tax?
Yes.
Well, some, we are some and some we aren't. I mean, Missouri, I think we're higher.
Yeah, I think Missouri's the only one that's lower than we are, around all the connecting. Illinois, I think it's like 54 cents and we're 40.
Well, not that anybody likes to pay more, but, you know, the roads are getting to the point where,
Or is it gonna come to the point you're gonna have to have toll roads?
oh, that's too.
Yeah.
That would be a real popular decision.
I'm taking the county roads.
The thing is that
Kansas has that on 35.
Oh, did they?
Well, yeah, it's been there for years.
For real?
You get around Emporia to the Oklahoma border. It's a toll road.
What's the cost?
$5.
That, yeah, it was probably
I haven't been on it
$8. I haven't been
so I
on it
don't know.
since 2002, but
So a lot of people take the side roads, I bet.
well, I doubt it.
That's been brought up, that those toll roads end up getting used because they had to borrow the money because they couldn't get it any other way. And it's so expensive that it costs more than if they would have just passed a gas tax. It was cheaper than to install toll roads because the loan amount you're paying, the interest rate is so ridiculous that that's what you're doing is just trying to pay it. And by the time the road needs to be replaced, you're still paying for that borrowed money
upside down and below.
That's why the bigger cities, lots of times are doing that because they can't get the money any other way.
Well, I know we, in the state, we need a lot of roads fixed. You take 9 west and super grades are pounded.
Over 218 from east here to Floyd.
Right.
I think it'd be hard to hear a former county supervisor not agree to do that, as opposed to people that maybe don't have an idea how roads are financed and how they're used. I think, to me, that would be more of a concerning situation. You've been there, had to come up with roads. You know, you get the money back, why wouldn't you?
Take a look at Howard County. I'm not trying to be unkind. You had, in the early 2000s, we made more than one trip over to Cresco as a board, and we always come back empty-handed.
Yeah, I know. I covered Howard County news back then, so yeah, I know.
You know, the gas can go up 50, 60 cents in a couple weeks and people are still buying it, you know, so if you put a dime in there, who's gonna know it? You know, I mean, really, after the first couple days of grumbling.
Everybody wants good roads. They grumble when it's rough.
I think people grumble more when it fluctuates. If it just stayed in one spot, you know, we get used to paying a certain price for milk and eggs and everything else because it stays. It jacks up and it stays, so people would be more apt to just deal with it if it would just stay at $3.75 a gallon and not all the time. And I think people, I came from Illinois, we got used to it. You know, it was a high price, but we got used to it. Our problem was all the money went to Chicago. Down south, all of our money went up north, but you got used to it. You didn't see fluctuations of gas prices with that. It was a lot stable, a lot more stable.
Okay, manure management plan updates.
We got 2 of them. Borderline Buildings LLC, the northeast side, and then their southwest side. Their phosphorus index has been updated. Site northeast side is in section 12 of Wayne, and the southwest is in section 12 of Wayne.
So noted. Anything else for the good of the cause? Absolute has their annual meeting this morning.
Oh, is that today? I know it's always on a Tuesday. Up at Carpenter?
Yep. Yeah, we going up there in about an hour.
I thought it already started. Didn't it start at 9?
No, it starts at 10, I think. Don't need to be there for the business meeting. It's the meeting after the meeting. That's the important meeting.
Lunch and the lunch.
Lunch. I think it's just cookies and lemonade, but. Actually,
what's in the lemonade?
Well, whatever you have in your flask.
Third position.
The BYOB, huh?
There is a meeting tonight on, down at Nyack on hiring. Basically, what the state law says. I mean, you know, if
Employment law.
yeah, employment laws. I'm gonna get that one and see if there's anything that's outstanding.
At ISAC last week, they talked about healthcare reform. Coming up, we're going to be anybody, say it's seasonal people, they work 30 hours or more, you have to offer them health insurance.
Yeah. Do you have to offer it, or do you have to pay for it too? I mean,
Well, I suppose you got to pay for a portion of it, or whatever your policy is.
If they're 30,
Like our 30-hour people, they get 3/4 of it.
yeah.
So, yeah, so then do you keep a seasonal person only working 29 hours? But that kind of defeats the purpose of having them.
Some places are hiring more people at less hours.
Yeah. That's the way around it. That's
Yeah.
what the corporations are doing.
And then say, well, you're gonna have all this reporting you're gonna have to do, but yet they don't know how that's not been determined yet, so. Pushed down by the federal people, just to justify somebody else's job.
More paperwork,
Yep,
more bureaucracy.
more time spent on stuff that's
make work.
Well, if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, we will stand adjourned at 9:55 and a half. 56.